This is rising damp.
We're inspecting a house on Seaview Terrace, which sounds like the sort of road you'd want to live on, but in Hadleigh in Essex, it's not.
I mean, this is mould. It's right next to a child's bed.
Yeah, and she's got asthma. It's just not on. She needs to stop being exposed. There we go.
At number 6, they've been living with damp for 7 years. The landlord knows, but hasn't done anything about it.
There's no real excuse. You know, people are being made sick or their health is deteriorating living in this property.
Next door also has problems.
That looks like it's asbestos.
The Salvation Army owns this house too. There's rising damp and mould upstairs and downstairs.
Oh my goodness.
There's also a hole in the roof, which the tenants say they first reported to the Salvation Army's agent 6 years ago.
Is the landlord negligent?
Yes, of course he's negligent, yeah.
Rita Lawn lives here with her son David. She's 88 and has arthritis, asthma and angina. She keeps the heating on 24 hours a day but says the house still feels cold. Rita is a Christian and doesn't understand why a Christian charity isn't carrying out repairs.
How do you feel you're being treated, Rita?
Badly, but at the same time I'm sorry for them, because they don't realise what damage they're doing and what harm they're doing to other people, not just me, all our neighbours.
How do you cope?
By prayer.
All of the properties on this site in Hadleigh are owned by the Salvation Army. The church's founder, William Booth, created a farm colony here 130 years ago to help people escape poverty in London's East End. Today, the houses are tenanted and in a state of disrepair.
They are behaving like a rogue landlord.
Peggy Jane Smith has been complaining to the Salvation Army about the state of her flat for at least 7 years.
The stress is overwhelming, it really is. It has made me ill, it has really made me ill. I've had to have counselling in 2019 because I thought I was going to have a breakdown, I really did.
It's a fire trap.
We asked an independent fire safety expert to inspect Peggy Jane's property. He found a series of defects.
This building has been neglected, it's now got major issues. You name it, this building's got it.
Is there any excuse for the landlord not to have fixed these problems?
No, because they've got a statutory duty of care to the residents.
The Salvation Army has known about the decrepit state of the properties in Hadleigh for years. Surveys it commissioned in 2014 revealed problems with damp and breaches of fire regulations. In June 2018, Alan Reid, the Salvation Army's managing director, held a meeting with the tenants in Hadleigh and apologised for neglecting them.
The homes you're living in are not up to the standards we expect or we want today, and therefore we do need to do something.
He promised change, but 9 months later the council wrote to the Salvation Army threatening it with legal action, describing the situation in Hadleigh as a sordid mess. The Salvation Army declined our request for an interview but issued an unreserved apology to its tenants in Hadleigh and says repairs are now underway. But the church hasn't explained why it's taken so long for it to act, so we asked its managing director.
Mr. Reid, the Salvation Army is a Christian church. How can you treat people so badly?
No, I have no comment at the moment.
Your tenants pay you rent, Mr. Reid. Why can't you just repair their homes?
I have no comment at the moment. We do repair their homes.
There is only one hope this Christmas.
The Salvation Army says it's dedicated to helping the vulnerable and fighting injustice. It receives public donations of more than £100 million a year, and it owns 1,700 residential properties, most of which are used by its own officers.
The Salvation Army appears reluctant to spend money on its tenants' homes, but it is spending big on a new home for itself. A 6-storey territorial headquarters is being built here in South London at an estimated cost of £32 million.
The Salvation Army insists this development is being funded by the sale of its old headquarters, not by donations or rental income. The charity says its tenants in Hadleigh have a right to be angry and promises it will take urgent action to improve living conditions, although it has made this promise before.
Yeah, I imagine there is anger. Why has it been allowed to go on for so long?
It's mystifying, isn't it? A Christian charity committed to alleviating suffering has been causing its tenants in Hadleigh enormous suffering. The Salvation Army has apologised for the way it's behaved. It hasn't, though, Mary, explained why it behaved the way it did. The statement from the church points out that the pandemic and the death of the organisation's property director did delay repairs, but the statement also acknowledges that these factors don't explain why it's taken more than 7 years for the Salvation Army to face up to its responsibilities as a landlord. Tenants are wondering, where's all our rent money gone for all of those years? It certainly hasn't been going into maintaining our homes. The local MP, Rebecca Harris, has a theory. She thinks that this is down to a simple case of incompetence.